Welcome back to Invest Global. Today we're actually finishing out the Launchpad ecosystem map series here on the Binance Smart Chain. This is the most robust blockchain for all different launchpads. Now, throughout this whole series, we've gone through all the different blockchains, whether it's Avalanche, Ethereum, Layer 1, Layer 2, Cardano, Solana, literally everything out there. And actually, we have a full playlist, which is linked down below this video. And this basically is what it will bring you to. Definitely recommend saving this playlist because, again, all of this is about accessing altcoins early. Now, high risk, high reward opportunities in these launch pads, essentially pre-IDO allocations is pre-initial DEX offering allocations. We've done literally, again, pretty much everything out there. I plan to add on to this series as we go. So as more launch pads enter the market, I will cover them. But in today's video, the reason this is the last episode of this Launchpad ecosystem map series when it comes to the individual launch pads is this is honestly the most risky video out there. Now, throughout all my videos and anything that I talk about, whether in the cryptocurrency industry, I always recommend watching that video linked down below in the description. Every single video that I do, how to do your own research, how to DYOR, walking you through all the different methods, on-chain analysis, technical analysis, fundamental and sentimental analysis, all vital factors when it comes to investing in altcoins. Personally, anything that is low cap, I define low cap, really anything below $50 million in market cap, that to me is incredibly risky, just right off the bat. Now, micro cap is even riskier, right? So personally, I do not have an allocation to any of these projects I will be talking about in today's video, which by the way, obviously we're talking about the top 5 micro cap launch pads on the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. So be very, very careful. The only thing personally, what I would do with micro caps is maybe take a percentage of a profit of another thing in this industry. So let's say, like, for example, I got into Chainlink when it was very, very early, like below $1. It went up to, I think, Chainlink at one point, I can't remember, above $50 at one point. So nice 50x gain plus. I think I got in at under $1. Maybe it was even under 50 cents in my initial position. But okay, so those profits, right? So taking not all the profits and putting them into a microcap play, but rather maybe 10% of a section of those profits, right? So a very, very small allocation where you can go, okay, this is not something where, you're let's say you have your monthly income. I would not recommend, and again, obviously not financial advice, but this is just kind of a little bit of a perspective example of if you're going to put any allocation, anything that is incredibly, incredibly high risk, high reward, I would say use the profits, use a section of the profits, and then go, okay, a percentage of this I'm going to put into an extremely, extremely low cap project. In that case, have the mindset of, hey, this can go to zero. At any point in time, this can go to zero, especially with a lot of these with a below $1 million market cap. I mean, I'll get into these projects individually, but you have to be incredibly, incredibly careful. Tosdis has the highest market cap out of all these, and it's 2,600,000. Now, some of you, that might seem like a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things for an asset class, that is tiny, tiny, tiny. And at any point in time, you have to understand, analyze them on BSC scan, look at the top holders, because if someone owns a majority of this project, they can dump it. The point of this video is to really just lay out the objective facts of what are each of these different launchpads doing, what's their kind of individual niche in this launchpad ecosystem, overall market, right? So let's hop right into it. I apologize for kind of all of that warnings and kind of a house cleaning, but it's so important because lots of people are going to make a lot of money from microcap projects in the cryptocurrency industry if you have a long-term time horizon. But if you're looking at getting into this today and getting out of it tomorrow or a week from now, that is you're going at it from the wrong perspective. Maybe you should just go and play the lottery. Maybe you should go to the casino. Personally, what I do is I do in-depth research before I invest even a little bit into a project. That way, I'm kind of increasing my knowledge base on the blockchain industry, which is an increasingly growing space. And then you understand this a bit better, learn from everybody, even if it's what not to do, as Abraham Lincoln says. So the one-stop DeFi interoperable solution to powered with liquid staking. So this is kind of interesting. I like that they're cross-chain. So they're on Ethereum, they're on Binance, they're on Phantom, Polkadot, Solana, Cardano. That's interesting. So staking as a service allows Tosdis to offer staking to all ERC20 and BSC projects, making it easily accessible and affordable to all current and upcoming projects. Unfortunately, it's our goal, ultimately, it is our goal to integrate as many chains as possible to our platform. So they also have yield farming as a service. That's interesting. You can see the liquid staking here. This is the tokenomics. So the DIS auction is 35%, Tosdis Foundation 10%, reward allocation 40%, advisors 1%. Uniswap 5%. This is their roadmap. So we're in Q3 here. Let's look at this. So Cardano and Solana integration, cross-chain decentralized exchange, non-fungible token launchpad, and liquid staking. Now, always important to analyze the launch or the audits when it comes to this. But again, the point of this video is not to just deep dive into one individual project. So I'm going to move on here. But if you want to see a detailed video, a separate video on any of these, I'd consider making it. But again, I don't want to give so much exposure to a project that's anything below like $5 million in market cap, because it can be risky, right? Like it can be risky to give them that much exposure. But I do recommend at least checking these out, right, guys? So just for, if it's nothing else, just for fun to understand, okay, maybe there's some micro caps out there that you could throw a tiny bit of profits into, okay? So $50 right now. Market cap is, like I said, 2,600,000. All of these, I mean, the chart's pretty much the same, right? Pretty much return to these lows. Moving on here to Goose Finance. Now, this is where we get even more riskier, guys. So keep this in mind. This is essentially just a fork. You can tell this is a fork of PancakeSwap, right? It looks literally exactly like PancakeSwap. What we are most interested in is the IFOs, the initial farm offerings. This is kind of like the version of a Launchpad for yield farming, right? So they have Typhoon Network. So it's a bit different, right? I know this is, you can have insanely high APY. Yeah, APRs above 100%. You can see Goose Finance here. Again, I'm going to go more rapid fire into these because they're incredibly low market cap again. $2.3 million in market cap. Let's see here if we can get rid of this CoinGecko. Yeah, so let's go to max here. We kind of fell out of those highs of 162. Now we're at this low of 61 cents. So again, I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's like, hey, if we just to return to these highs, we're going to do over 100x, 150x gain. So I'm not going to say we're going to do that. We're going to do double that. Yeah. So it'd be crazy if that did happen. So that could be a potential play where it's like, hey, tiny bits. But again, not recommending you do this. Just a little bit of perspective. Next, Yellow Road. Again, tiny cap projects, guys. These last couple are where you need to really be careful, even more than these first two, right? So I'm going to stop saying that. I know I keep repeating it, but what's worth knowing is worth repeating. I cannot say that enough throughout this whole ecosystem series that we've done. Again, the playlist for this is linked down below in the description. Basically, I've been going through a lot of these with higher market caps. These last three are tiny, like babies, right? So decentralized community-backed IDO platform for Binance Smart Chain project. Now you can see the Launchpad here. Let's see. So they don't have any upcoming things. Maybe you have to connect your wallet, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video. Their partners, I do like Happy. They have Orion protocol pools, so their partners are kind of interesting there. Let's see. So the Yellow Road IDO program, you can see the token holders here. Holding requirements, top 1,000 holders. Token holders here, minimum requirements of 50. So that would mean, so below $50 there, not bad. The allocation type is lottery, though, so keep that in mind. Throughout the series, I've been talking about guaranteed allocations versus lottery allocations. You can see their advisors there. Again, not going to spend too much time on these. So 27 cents currently, market cap, don't even want to say it, 649,000. That is so small, so small. So we were at $17. Now we're at 27 cents. Lastly, Kickpad. And by the way, guys, the title of this video, the reason that it's the top 5 microcap is because these are pretty much the only ones that I know of. It's not saying these are amazing or anything like that. It's just saying these are the top 5 microcap launchpads. That's objectively true when you look at this. So kickstart your project the right way. Kickpad, from what I understand, Kickpad is a bit more of like sorry, how do you say it? Not as much of a launchpad, but it's a bit more of like a crowdfunding platform. And again, that's how I understand it. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But like I said, I do not participate in this. I'm not sure why there's no active ones, but you can see these different ones. So Okaru, Mist, these are just past ones here. Let's move on here to the token. So the Kickpad token, Kpad, is right around 0.013 cents. Market cap is 800,000. Tiny. Let's see. So we have the price that peaked up there at $3.76, and it's pretty much flat, right? So be very careful, guys. Again, lastly, Launchpad Zone. This is kind of an honorable mention. I could not find the actual Launchzone token on CoinGecko or anything like that. So the ultimate DeFi platform. But again, guys, I mean, if some of you are so scared of getting into some of these where you need a high allocation like PokerStarter, TrustSwap, DuckDAO Dime, some of these kind of larger allocation necessary projects, potential plays are microcaps or low cap projects. So it just depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on what you're investing, and you have to be very objective on this. Do not attach emotion to any of these projects. I would not recommend that. I would say, hey, if you're interested in this, follow what the project is doing. Go follow them on Twitter, which you can follow us on Twitter as well. So for example, here, Kickpad, follow them on Twitter. So that way you can keep up to date with what's going on. You can see, okay, if on the roadmap, this is what their promise is and they follow through, then great. That's one kind of a +1 point. But hey, if they're promising on the roadmap all these things and the team disappears, that's a negative point. You can be glad that you didn't invest, right? So these are all things where I would recommend following along, being a bit more long-term minded versus a short-term, right? Because with some of these projects, it's just like, venture capital funding, right? So if you can be almost like an angel investor in some of these, and you can go, okay, maybe you believe in, I don't know, Yellow Road for the long term or Tosdis for the long road. I think out of these, I like Tosdis the best. But in the long run, even if you have a small allocation, it can grow into a lot of capital. So again, very, very high risk, high return, guys. That's pretty much all for this video. If you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay up to date. Hit the notification bell and click all. Let me know in the comments what you think about these top 5. If there's any other launchpads that I did not cover in the series, I'm happy to continue on with the series. But this is essentially the wrap up of kind of all the different launchpads that I saw out there in the market. And then I'll kind of be doing some follow-up videos on kind of analyzing all of these, maybe like Pocket Starter versus Trust Swap or some of these lower cap, kind of comparing some of these just kind of as a bird's eye view of all the things going on. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at investglobal_IO. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, button all, Invest Global. And until next time, also join the Telegram group, link down below in the description.